cup over?
Your show.
You damn right.
Yeah, yo, we're rolling.
We're rolling.
We are rolling.
Yay. Long time coming.
We
were
back.
here before. We
back
started
like we
off
never
the
left.
show. That part.
Back like we never left.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your girl, Ransom. And I am back with Keith on Vybez Don't Lie.
What's happening, folks?
That's what I'm talking about.
We
Here,
back in
Keith,
the
let's do
building.
it right this time. Introduce yourself.
I am Keith, a.k.a. Just Me Astrology, a.k.a. Just Me the Artist. I do astrology readings. I'm a tarot reader. I am about to get my Reiki 2 attunement, and I'm going to be out here in these streets providing Reiki as well. And yeah, I'm a spiritual practitioner, and I'm whatever the collective needs me to be, as long as it's a part of who I am.
Ooh, well said. Dropping bars already. Go Keith, go Keith. I mean, there are so many things that we could talk about, but I wanted us to talk about like working with the ancestors. It's basically kind of how we met. Is like you were already in that journey. I had just finished uncovering so much of mine, and so I like to say that we're the testimonies to that work of like when you really are in communication with your ancestors and you're doing and you're listening, it really will uncover and show you some stuff. So like let's recap, because that was like the very first episode technically where I came out talking about, yo, I worked with the ancestors and I found out I have a different daddy.
Yeah.
And so that is just, and then very similar to when I did our first reading, and then learning like, oh, you're uncovering your stuff about your mother, and it's like, oh, we out here. I was like, yo, I'm not alone. Somebody's doing this ancestor work. So I'll kind of just start with like how I got there, and then we'll kind of segue into like your story and your experience. And then feel free to like interrupt me if you want.
We're really talking about this.
We're really talking about this.
Okay.
Yeah,
here we go.
yeah, get ready. Yeah, because honestly, it's probably gonna ruffle some feathers. Whoever wants to watch this, I think on my side for sure. So it is what it is. It's my truth. It's my experience. But so I would say it started off with it started off with having to sit with my like internal racism, because I was like it was like end of the year, it's holiday time, and there was like a couple people who were just, because I had already taken a step back from like community in a sense of being like, why am I in this community? Do I really fuck with these people? Like, I don't know, I'm not like let me take a step back, something feels wrong. And so that's when I had done this reading with this gal, and she was like, you should work with the ancestors about your internal racism, because like we all have it, and like it's a progress to work through. And also working with ancestors, you get some of that energy where it's like, no, we don't fuck with that. And it's like, what? But why? Because I personally wouldn't say that. And so it was one of those of having to navigate, like, is this my energy at play here from the perspectives and the experiences that I've lived, or is this coming from a different place, but it's so familiar that I think it's mine, you know? Yeah. So I was like sitting and I was talking and I was like, you know what? Because like there was the saying too, and I used to say it a lot, and now I kind of like have backtracked on it and am given this other perspective, but it's like, you know, you'll hear people say, only call on your good ancestors. Only call on your good ancestors. You want to leave the bad ones out, because there are some ancestors who don't want us to elevate and grow, right? But I go further than that to say it's not that they want you to limit yourself per se. It's their perspective of what they knew at the time and their experience. So some of them only know revenge, or they only know the prejudice. So it's like you got to work with that energy to be like, hold on, there's a reason I'm here. I'm the mediator. I'm the filter. It's okay. Like the people who are coming, if you guys are helping me navigate these people that I'm coming into contact with, and I'm telling you only bring the ones who are serious, then you should know already and trust that these people are worthy of this work, or of this healing, or this knowledge.
Now when you say internal racism, like, can you expand on that a little bit, what you mean for yourself? Yeah,
like growing up with family members who were just explicitly like racist, like they just had a view of looking at certain, like I said, like in the last episode, it was like my grandma. As much as
I
she's
remember
like,
that.
oh, I love everybody. It's like, nah, you still racist as fuck.
Yeah, the
It's
braids.
like, yeah, like the
Oh,
braid.
you a nigga now?
Yeah, you're a nigga. Like, it's shit like that. Or just like growing up, and it just was like, kind of just like even those micro movements of just kind of like seeing the expression when you would talk about certain things, or the first thing is like, are they black, or you know, like just like I'm so quick to be like, were they white? Good, because that'll tell me a lot about what we're talking about. If they're black, what, that's a little off character.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, and even that in itself, I say, is like a bit of micro racism, where it's like we do attribute certain stereotypes or themes to races. So
For sure.
for me, like especially in the spiritual community, when it came to, you know, white spaces, it was like, why are y'all like infiltrating? And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, why do I feel like I'm in competition with the medicine that came from my own people? So I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, and it the wave in which it came, I knew I had to sit with it, because it just felt so like I couldn't be in a space without feeling like some type of like, you know, whether it was a power dynamic or whatever, it was just like, you don't, like, you're full of shit. It's like capitalism, like, So I was like, yeah, let me sit with that. And through that, so I was telling him, I was like, you know what, I'm calling on all my ancestors, not good ones, bad ones, whatever. I was like, let's talk it out.
Is this how you reconciled it?
This is how I reconciled it. I said, let's come together. I said, look, I'm here. I am the bridge. So let's fucking work it right. Like, we are not, I said, look at my name. It's Ransom. We put myself here for a fucking reason, so we gonna get this. Like, I was like, we gonna live the life we supposed to live this fucking, like, in this lifetime, we gonna get this fucking bag.
Getting to it.
Yeah, I was like, there's just no way that at this point we should be still navigating certain lessons. Like, we need to get the fuck over it, you know? And so that's basically what I was sitting there. I was just like, the way my forehead is like so pressured. Yeah, okay, so we're here. God, they are on me right now. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so it was just like being like, let's like, get this bag. And in the process, what you learn is that the ancestors are like, bet, we gonna get this bag. However, the truth must be set. We need the foundation to be, and ancestors are great for foundation work. So they're like, hey, hold on. In order for you to get this bag, you need to know you. And I was like, what? Had no idea. Super Bowl, New Orleans. What is that, like? I think it was like February 8th or something like that. And I was already just making the comment of like, New Orleans, Super Bowl, the collective, the Magic's finna be crazy this day.
And you know the Super Bowl is nothing but a ritual.
Thank you.
They harness our energy.
Literally. So I was like, this is just crazy. And also, I don't even care about football. So I was just like, whatever. But like, I'm chilling there watching the games with my roommates, and I get this email, and it's from Ancestry.com. And I said, like, I read the message, and typically I don't even care about them. But it was like, this girl reached out now talking about, yo, is this your pappy? And I was like, sorry, let me go burst her bubbles. Like, I ain't got nothing to do. So I get on there, and I'm like, no, that's not my dad. She's like, sorry to break it to you, but somebody got to tell you the truth. And I'm like,
now who is this again?
Is she my cousin now that I've learned?
Did you know at the time that was your cousin?
No.
Damn.
No. In Ancestry Talk, I've been on there for years. So why now? That was my thing, is I had done my Ancestry DNA years ago, when I was like, and why her? She happens to be up in this world now. It's another story for another time, as far as like where she's at in that journey. But we're here. We're here. She did her job. Nevertheless, she did her job. She got me in. She got the door open. And I'd already told myself at this point, like, yo, if this family approaches me, like, I'll give them the time of day. Why is that? Because growing up, motherfuckers across the street from us used to approach all the time talking about, yo, you're my cousin. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Who is this?
What they look like?
I don't know. People from across the street.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. What ethnicity were they?
Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, if you had these white cousins running up.
Oh, no.
You would have been like, well, that's
I definitely would have been.
You wouldn't have that
also,
anyway.
That wasn't the first time. Like, I even was approached in school at one point by this other family, and there were like some brown kids talking about, hey, you're my cousin, and blah, blah, and I was like, if you were, I think I would have been told this. So, like, it wasn't unusual for me to get approached by people like, hey, you fam? But I would be like, who told you I was fam?
But bust it though. Check it out how your ancestors were like just prepping you.
Right? Giving me, they were like, bitch, wake up. Wake up.
Technical difficulty.
Technical difficulties, don't mind us. Producer doing producer things. But like, yeah, so it was just like they always been approaching me, but like this goes further into this whole like gap that happened and unveiling the veil and recognizing that, you know, when you're living out of somebody else's fear that they've placed onto you, but there's a part of you who's like, but I'm not fearful, but I feel this fear and I feel like I need to follow that, so I'm gonna follow it. And then once you get out of it, and that's when it's like, oh wait, hold on a minute, this isn't my truth. This isn't my feelings. This is my mother's. This is my family's feelings. This isn't me, because no. But like it was like, so I'd already realized when they had messaged me, my cousin, like that was that family. So it was like, all right. And then they started sending me like obituaries because I find out he's passed, and they're like, this is you and him. And I've seen this obituary before. I've asked questions about this shit, and I've always been like, no. This is just some crazy guy who claimed you. And I'm just like, that's just like, again, like as a child, you're not questioning it, but you're just thinking, you're just like, hey, I mean, if they're saying they're crazy, then I guess like that's something some crazy people would fucking do. But it's like my name's in there, like, you know, and my name's different. So then I'm like, do I have a different name? And a name is so important when it comes to your soul and your but anytime you change your name, you basically open up a whole different version of you. So
that makes sense to me.
It's like you change your name when you're married. That's a whole different version that you've just now clocked in, because in order to get into the Akashic, you need your current name, not the one you're born with, but your current name, because that's a whole different story. You could use the name from when you were born, but that opens up a whole different timeline and the lessons that you know, it's like you choose one choice and then the other one's still playing out. It's the same thing. It's like that life is over there because you chose to be under this name now.
Well, give me till this summer, and I'll be able to talk with you more in depth about the Akashic records.
Yes.
I'm still in my initiation process. Let's get it.
He's just trying so hard to get into the Akashic, man. Just patience is key.
Said, all right, I'll stop being hardhead.
Just patience.
But yeah, changing your name.
Yeah,
right?
but changing your name. So like it's a whole thing. And so just seeing all that, it was just like, and then when the confrontation happened was when Jupiter went, I think, retrograde or direct in Cancer, which Cancer, it's expansion of the mother.
Jupiter, and it's been retrograde for a while.
Exactly. So it was like a whole accumulation of just mother stuff coming up to the surface, secrets that were coming up to the surface. It was so symbolic. It was great seeing how astrology came up with that too, because I was like, oh, it's not just like, you know, but it was like, yeah, it's like you don't know why you're doing things, but then you notice like, oh no, you've been following the path the whole time. Like you've been the alignments were aligning and you just locked in, and look at now what's paying out is you're getting the truth. And so it was a fucking doozy. So yeah, go.
So you have to follow Jupiter. You have to. I always tell people, based on their chart ruler, you know, you got to make sure that you know what that planet is doing. And you saying Jupiter was in Cancer, Cancer was Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter in retrograde.
Yep.
That's, as you know, deep inward expansion, shadow expansion. I hope y'all are picking that up, right? Like, damn, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
forward.
but it's like, it's just that, like, it's one of those where I'd be like, when you tapped in, this is shit that's happening so simultaneously in such different frames, but it's all one picture at the same time. So it's like, unless you're in there, it's kind of hard how you wrapped your head around all these things at the same fucking time. But it's like when the dots connect, they fucking connect. But it was like, it was at that point where, one, if I had any disbelief in spirit, at that point it was wiped, because it was like, nah, like I fucking talked to the ancestors and these motherfuckers are like, hey, here's family shit. And then like Saturn and Aries retrograde approaching, where like, or my Saturn return, whatever, and Saturn's been conjunct my moon, so it was like emotional maturity. Woo! So there was bro, and oh my god, it's all family. It's just so fucking much. But it was
I'm so sorry. Here, let me touch you. I'm so sorry that you had that cancer. Oh, they were just following each other. And
talk about daddy mommy issues. They're talking about here, let's expose everything.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I was grateful for because I knew at the time I had already been preparing myself for the moment. I had already had conversations where, like, if I find out I'm adopted, cool. Like, whatever. That's my story. I'm happy. I'm where I'm at. You know, but, like, there's always that inkling of, like, I'm not part of this. Damn. There's something about me that it's just not clicking. Like, looking at pictures and being like, do I literally look like my brothers? Kind of, but like there's something about me. Yeah, there's just something about me.
So above all of the pictures and all the things, and being a part of, I guess, the traditional, or as traditional as it may have looked for you, family structure, or the one given to you, you still sat in an energy that said, one of these things is not like the other.
Something is afoot.
Y'all bet, man. Huh. Okay, I hope y'all picked that up too. Like, you had a what feeling?
Oh, it was straight intuitive. It actually, that, I think it goes even deeper than that. That is like such a soul knowing of saying, like, something's off, because your soul's the truth. So your soul is fucking you. It's the authentic. So you're authentic. And I'm over here talking authenticity. Yeah. And to embody that, it's like you have to know the truth. You have to know everything about you. And I'm like, I think I know my story. Like I said, I was like, if you were to ask me before this, I'd be like, the story didn't feel complete. It didn't feel like that was the character development that I needed to be where I'm in. Yeah. But now that I know, I'm like, oh, I've had all this prep, all these initiations to be in this position right now. It wasn't just because, oh, I started working when I was 14 and had 2 jobs growing up and blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. But, like, why did I do that? Yeah. You know, why did that feel like, why was that the direction I decided to go versus knowing always in the back of my mind, like, something's weird. And that's all it would be. It's just like, something's weird. Something's not right. Ransom, do you know who you are? And that's what the biggest thing that came out of it was, like, I realized at a young age I had multiple identity crises where I'm like, I don't know.
God,
me.
Man.
But then I would be frustrated because I'm like, why am I having these problems? But it's like your soul is fractionated. So it's like, this isn't you. You're living a lie right now. You don't know everything. Like, don't trust what you're hearing almost. But then you're like, as a child, you're like, but I'm loyal. My parents know best.
Oh, my God.
You know? So, like, let me segue real quick to bring you into this. You had your own journey of talking with the ancestors and learning. So let's go on.
So beginning of 2023, I had my full-blown, like, spiritual awakening out of the matrix. So my first introduction to the ancestors was at the beginning of 2023. The woman who I thought was my aunt, she passed away, and immediately I felt her presence on my left side. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit, am I getting tapped in? So she came right to me. And then and then my I was calling her Aunt Gigi. She told me real quick, don't call me that. Aunt Gloria. Yes, ma'am. So she showed up, and she was on my right side. And I didn't realize she was over here, though. And so I go to a event, and a colleague, dear friend of mine, who's also a medium, we met for the first time, like, face-to-face in that event. And she saw me, and you know how you just kind of lock eyes, and you just kind of know. We shook our heads at each other, hugged. And then she immediately started saying, I see a feminine presence on your right side. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah. She was like, I'm not really seeing anything over here, but over here I see something. And I now understand why she didn't see it here. I felt it already on my left. But my right is what I need to pay attention to. So a week later, I call her, and I'm like, hey, can you tell me more about that presence? And she confirms for me it's my Aunt Gloria. So back up a little bit of a gap there, as I started receiving downloads through music. Do y'all hear that?
They love to speak to some music
you
too.
better pay attention to songs that come through. So it was the first song was "What a Fool Believes" by the Doobie Brothers. So go look it up. And the way the lyrics went, I was like, what a fool believes. So what a fool believes he sees, a wise man has the power to wish it away. And I was like, what seems to be never really happened, something like that. Go look at the lyric. It just blew me away and it grabbed me. And then I was like, so something's going on. And then it just hit me like a flash. Hey, the woman who raised you might not be your mom. Gemini energy, you need to test this out. So they came, my parents came for the graduation, my son's graduation. We're sitting, we have an opportunity to sit 2-on-1. Here we are. Y'all always want to know what's going on when you're gone, you know, back in Louisiana, you never hear from me. Here I am. So I said, let me test this shit out.
Yeah.
So I said, so tell me, can you guys tell me about my aunties?
Yeah.
So Aunt Cerinthia, who's actually, spoiler alert, actually my birth mom, and Aunt Gloria was like really close to us, but when we were young, we never saw her again. And so they got real uncomfortable. And they gave me very surface level answers, stuff that I could have found out by going back and reading their obituary. And so I said, okay, I think I see what's happening here. And so they leave, this is brewing. I get the courage to say, Dee Dee is her name. Shout out Dee Dee. I say, Dee Dee, can you channel for me? And I said, so, Aunt Gloria, are you my birth mom? And Aunt Gloria laughed out loud and said, no.
That's right.
And I said, so is Mom my birth mom? Aunt Gigi said, sorry, Aunt Gloria. I'm sorry. She said, you're not ready to hear that yet. Well, you just told me.
Yeah, quite literally a way to go around it. Talk about you ain't
just
ready.
Told me.
Bingo.
And so then, moving forward, I have an ancestry reading. In that ancestry reading, I just straight up ask, is this woman my birth mom? And the answer that I got was, you know, that's really complicated.
Vague as fuck. You're like, wait, let's elaborate on that. What you mean?
So they didn't want to talk about it in mixed company, right? The medium, I didn't know her. She was referred to, so they didn't really want to talk about it in mixed company. So they dropped little hints. So I'm talking about to Aunt Gloria. I remember being like 5 years old, and her and the lady who I thought was my aunt, but is really my birth mom. I said when talking to Aunt Gloria, man, I remember that. You know, you took me and my half brother, and we took pictures with Santa Claus. You, me, my half brother, and I slipped up and said, "And Mama," and I said, I mean, Auntie," and Aunt Gloria said, "No, you had it right the first time." So we keep moving on, and Grandmama, who sits right here, Grandmama Taurus. She first fussed at me a little bit. She was like, it took you long enough to get to me, first of all. Secondly, she saved me when I was a baby. This is how she did it. so-called mom put an ad in the paper for somebody to come and babysit me. I'm a baby. Put an ad in the paper. Grandmama stepped in and said, I wish I might. So she knew a family friend, and that family friend ended up being able to watch me. Mama 90, Uncle Bert, I'm from the country. Mama 90, Nora, okay, here and here, sitting here and here. And so, like, I had to really apologize to them because I was horrible as a kid. I did not want to be over there. I hated going over there. I was always going over there, and I just despised. And I was just so mean to them. But I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I asked her, so how come you guys weren't around more? And she says, yeah, we didn't want to make the situation worse. This was like a crazy situation for all of us. And so I have an astrology reading. And in that astrology reading, I'm telling the astrologer some stuff about, you know, what my ancestors have been sharing with me. And then I share with her that my birth mom is a Libra. My actual birth mom is a Libra. I'm a Libra rising. She said, oh, that's your mama. And I went, what? She says, yeah, typically what you find is that the rising sign of the child follows the sun sign of the birth mom or dad. And so I had all these confirmations, and I'm just now getting to a space where I don't doubt it. I don't ask for any more signs or clues, but I just allow myself to sit in the knowing of what these ancestors just came, and they just started popping up and surrounding me like one by one. And some of them are here to protect. Pop, my birth mom's father, he's a protector. He don't play.
No, and it's interesting you bring them up because, like, prior to you speaking, I could feel this energy of, like, the ones who are like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, we're angry. Because I found myself being like, no, okay, I'll just kind of like beat around the bush. But it's like, no, I can't do that. Like, this is part of the healing of being able to speak about it. Whether or not the person it's about agrees, it's like, this is just what it is and this is how it's been conveyed. Like, I was thinking about just like how I was saying, like, oh, I've had this whole initiation. And it's like, yeah, it's...
I hope you guys heard that. Confirmation.
Right. And so with that, it was because, so like, and it was just, it's so crazy how this thing came full story. Because again, they dropped crumbs, right?
Yep.
And it was like, for me, I had done this Akashic Records reading with this person. And they were bringing up, they were like, your maternal line, full open. Your spirit guides are here. They're helping. They're like, they're super solid. Like, you have a direct line. There's no issues getting a hold of them. They're like, but your paternal side is kind of fractionated. They hold some fractionates. So it's harder to get through to them. And I was like, and I feel that. I was like, you know, thinking about Saturn and Aries, fourth house. Okay, father issues, me being father, healing those wounds of like, if I say I'm gonna do it type of vibes and whatnot. But I was just like, okay. And then thinking about my stepdad and then being like, yeah, no, like, he, you know, he was bipolar or is bipolar, so like it makes sense why it would be fractionated. And I'm thinking of that line, but still, like, again, there's that part of me who's like, you're close, bitch. You're really close, but like, you're almost there. And so it's like, amazing. I learned about these two past lives where, because I had this one, and that was like confirmed like the very first time I did Akashic Records reading. But like with this one, it came back. So I had just learned about why during my dark night of the soul, I had this like really horrible time with things around my throat. And that was just because in a past life I had hung myself and I was experiencing very similar themes and stress related levels that it was basically coming out here in like manifesting in my physical body. So it was like, oh, okay, like a throat chakra being blocked, having a hard time moving through that energy, but also like home themes, navigating like home. I was like about to live in my car, and like there was so much happening during that time. And so that lifetime came up, but they were like, well, that was also karmic retribution. And I said, well, for what? And they were like, well, in the past life right before that, you had died as a kid by your father. And I was like, oh, okay, let's get into it. I was like, I knew I didn't like that motherfucker for a reason. Again, thinking about my stepdad, like, fucking knew he was an op. I'm like, it would make sense he would try to kill me, jealous ass bitch. But nah, different dad. Different daddy. But different dad. Switch it. Still dad, but not the one you're thinking about. And so like in that lifetime, mom died at birth and dad took it out on me on all ways. Like physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, like the whole 9 yards. And there was one point he got so mad, it was like blunt force trauma to the head, and I died. Well, when you're a kid, how karmic works is like I didn't have any karma to accumulate. I was a child. There was nothing. I didn't ask to die. So they were like, well, in order for him to start playing out his karma, you have to be reincarnated again, which brought us to the life that I killed myself, which in that one, mom died a little bit later from disease.
Yeah.
He was really upset. He was very abusive in that lifetime too. I was like working in an asylum as a nurse, and that's when I realized like, oh, this is not to help people. This is like lobotomies and like that type of where I'm like, oh my God. So there's this struggle of like, oh, I can't even speak about work because who am I to say anything? But then also at home, not having somebody to talk to about like what was going on. So took myself out and was like, I'm cool. Plus I was feeling like this impeding doom of like, homie might just murk me, so like let me just take myself out, which then brought us to this lifetime where same thing, homie tried to murk us, but the difference is that me and my mom survived and he's the one who's passed now. And I'm like, wow, look at the cycle has been completed. We made it. But it also brought up in that whole, and that just goes into like identity crisis conversation of like feeling like, oh, I'm not going to make it to 20. Like if I make it to 20, like, okay, cool. And then I made it to 20 and I'm like, so now what do I do? I didn't think I was going to make it this far. And that's because I've never had, like, the lifetimes leading up to this, I died so young. So I never made it past 20. Yeah, so it was like 20 was foreign. It was like I've not seen a lifetime past that with the ones that were just so recent happening. And so it was like, it was so crazy. But within that, that's where you learn, oh, when somebody tries to fuck with free will, this is how it plays out. So it's like, you know, my mom, out of fear, basically tried to force this new, like, this is how you're going to live your life. You're not going to know about them. And it's like, that's taking against my own freedom to be like, well, no, let me have a choice. Let me say, hey, I want to have a relationship or not, regardless of what you've navigated with them. I don't know that, you know? And it's like, I get it's out of protection, but it's also like, let's be mindful of how we do that. You can tell me, hey, this is my experience and this is why I think you shouldn't, but at the end of the day, it is still up to you.
Wow.
You know? And so it's like a lot of this whole journey was just basically reclaiming my power. Being like, oh no, I do have a choice in my life, and it's not to be dictated by these outside factors unless I let them. And being able to be like, oh, okay.
Wow.
But the beautiful thing, though, with it is, like, now I could do work with him. It's like, oh, cool, you've done your reflection up there. Sweet. You already done all the bullshit. I don't have to worry about that here, the human who's going to try to lie. It's like, you already know, so get to fucking work. Show up like a fucking dad since you want to show up down here. Like, you know, like, show me what it means to have a good dad, but in this other form. Yeah. And then recognizing how that shows up in people now. But, yeah, and then your mom... I always be picking up your mom's energy. And, yeah.
Well, you man, there's so much meat and potatoes in the story that you told. Like, there's Akashic work, there's ancestral work, there's shadow self, shadow work. Like, there's so much in what you just shared. How did your ancestors help to walk you through that journey?
Honestly, I feel like it was really just the basis of, like, reminding me of how they showed up growing up, from all those interactions of the neighbors talking about, hey, we're cousins, to these feelings that I've had in moments of, like, basically being in flow state and not recognizing that's what it was, being like, oh, okay, having the conversation with myself, like I think it was elementary, where I was like, okay, if I am adopted, because they had been approaching so much at that point, where I was like, if this family were to be true, okay, cool, like I just want to know the truth. But then also understanding of like how when you're in somebody else's web, or they try to put a web around you, and you're trying to navigate through that web, it's almost like a labyrinth in a sense, because you don't realize that you're trapped in the maze. You're just going around, and just part of you's just like, nah, there's something wrong, like, nah, but you don't even realize you're going in a circle yet until you do, and then you're like, wait a second, I've hit this wall before, I've seen this sign, I've seen that crack, and then it's like, wait, let me slow down, let me pause. Some things, that's where it's like you have to come into stillness and be like, what am I not seeing? Yeah. And it's a question you can ask all the time of like, what's my truth? What am I not seeing? And they'll answer that all the time, but you have to be ready when they answer it.
For real.
Because I'd be shocked sometimes, because I'm like, oh, I did ask to see this, didn't I? Oh shit, I didn't know this was part of the whole story. It's like where we talk about getting to the root cause. It shows up in all these different symptoms and manifestations, but it all leads back to the root of being like, oh no, this is all part of your story. Yeah. Who you is. And so yeah, I would say like, yeah, just showing me like the moments they showed up to be like, hey, this isn't right. Keep that feeling. Something's not right. Trust, like, look into this. You should look here. Like, be like, nah. Yeah. But yeah, and then it's like once I got out the house and then started seeing like where I'm like, I don't know who I am. Oh my God. Yeah.
Man, like the breadcrumb thing. They have to, because the illusion that we have bought into from a just a matrix perspective, like if they had come to me and told me, like I've thought about that, if I had found out about this in high school, like let's say mama came to me in high school and shared all this, I would have cursed her. I would have said, you're just trying to tear the family apart. How dare you? You're not my real mom. And
see, I would have been cool. I'd have been like, thank God I fucking knew it. I would have had relief. I would have been like, I fucking knew it. But that was the thing too, is like having that, telling them like, y'all could have been told me. Talking about, oh, well, we weren't sure if you were ready for that. I think everybody knew at a very young age with me, I was emotionally mature enough to handle a lot of fucking things.
Yeah, like based off your past life work, right?
Yes.
You came in and you were like,
I was already understanding it, but like I had my own introspection talking about, hey, if this comes out to be the truth. But it was like I gave them the opportunity to give me the truth instead of pressing it, being like, nah, they have my best interest in mind, right? So they'll tell me if it's for my best interest, but it's also like that's when it comes into control and what people think you should know versus what you actually should know.
Good Lord.
In the whole shebang. Yeah. But it's I don't know, I just think it's fantastic being able to just be the testimony, be like, look, if you just talk and fucking listen, like they'll do. And it's like, but also I guess the capacity in which you have to be available for that type of, because it's one of those like you don't really get a moment to just absorb it either. Like you're doing full work at this point. Like you're getting dropped the plate and then they're like, now fucking eat it. And you're like, fuck, oh, I gotta eat this whole plate. And then they're like, and here's 5 more. Yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck.
That's how it happened.
And then you get a dessert and you're just like, are we done yet? And they're like, oh, that was just the first entree.
Oh my God.
A 7-course meal for the first entree? Like, fuck. But
that's
it's also,
exactly
you finish it and you're like, okay, I'm not like wanting to throw up.
Now.
I'm good. I guess I can handle another round. But like also like, how long is this going to last? And then eventually it just gets fun because you're just like, oh my God, I've always had this. Like, it's just a matter of like the puzzle coming back to, and then
the dots getting connected.
The dots get connected. And also like when you look at a puzzle, like for me, it looks like that and then the lines erase because it's complete. Now it's a picture. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like once they connect. Once they connect, and then it's like all the lines just slowly, and then here's the picture, and it's like you've done it. You've learned the lesson. You've passed. And so I mean, we have this conversation just to say of like, this is one way in which the ancestors work. Like again, I went in talking about, hey, let's get this bread. and I found out a whole different plethora of information. But then yet still, this has actually brought me so much more abundance than I could have ever imagined. And in so many ways. I mean, just from the abundance of my own knowledge and wisdom to like being in the reality of like these people who like aligning with you. Like, hey, you're also working with the ancestors. You get it. Like, this shit is not for the fucking weak. But then also just being able to say like, yeah, we don't necessarily have to know them.
No.
You know, we don't have to know their story, but they're still there to help. So being able to just ask for help. It's like, you know, too many times it's hard for us to ask the person in general. Just be like, hey, I need a shoulder to lean on. So it's like, all right, well, ask your fucking family up there. Like, yo, feeling a little lonely. Like, let me know you're here. And you can feel that warmth come in. And they show it in different ways where they're like, oh, you're a little lonely here. Here's a physical representation of this love, you know? But it's like, well, while we wrap it up, what were you going to say?
Humiliation rituals.
Yeah.
Watch out for that. I had an experience.
Gang.
I put a video up, like, sharing, like, the ancestors was like, nope, you going to start speaking on this. You got to stop being scared and ashamed. That's from my past life work. And so I put a video out. For months, it sat with no views. I put it out saying, hey, somebody else may be able to resonate. Set with no views. I guess somebody from old family of origin found it. My father from the old family of origin reaches out to my father-in-law, basically talks shit, and then sent him the video because my father-in-law was like, look, I don't get into their business like that. They're grown. Just didn't play into it. So he was like, oh yeah, well here, let me send you this video. And then all of a sudden, it went from 0 views to like it's got like 60 something views.
Nice.
And so it's like, you know, y'all are so sloppy.
It also just brings up the whole like, I don't know if you had that, but like that relationship with family and what family means. Like that had always been something that I was so considered unconventional for because it was like I could dip out on these motherfuckers right now and not give a fuck. Not give a flying fuck. I did it with love. Just dip
first
out.
Chance I got.
I'm saying, and people are like, "They're your family, you step out," and it's like, family's what you fucking make it.
Thank you.
Truthfully, family's what you make it. Like, yes, they serve a concept of family, but it isn't at all like what I would say is the truth of what family really is. So
when you think about slavery and how the black family was fractured and broken, like now coming out of that, do we really want to follow the model of family that we were given or that we just kind of made up as we went along on the fly? There was a lot of stuff we got to unlearn. It's
a lot of unlearning. Society's like, it has to be this way. You have this, therefore it is. And it's like, nah, actually, that's not at all. Because again, it's like stability, security. Those are feelings. So it's like, you can't tell me, oh, I'm stable and secure just because I have a home and a car. Like, we are proven that is not enough to feel that. So
if Uranus is still in Taurus, and I think it is, Uranus is like, we are breaking up the old values that we used to hold around certain constructs, and we gotta redo it. Just break it up, toss it up in the air, and figure out what works best for you.
I love it. Go Uranus and Taurus. Well, plug yourself real quick. Let the people know if you got anything going on.
Hell yeah.
How they can reach you.
April 11th. First of all, you can reach me at Just Me Music. Okay. You can reach me at Just Me on Just Me Astrology on TikTok. Also, April 11th from 11 to 1 at the Holy Hub, I am hosting an astrology workshop called Healing with the Stars. We're going to do a therapeutic dive through our natal charts. We're going to come together collectively and just learn not only about ourselves, but just meet people who we can collaborate with, and maybe something like this comes out of it. You never know. But yeah, you got to show up and be there. Go to my Instagram or my TikTok. The link, Eventbrite link, is in the bio. Okay, so make sure you do that. Also, I am an astrology reader. Same thing. Go to my platforms. In the link is a booking site book your boy. It'll change your life.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity, Ransom.
Yes. Thank you for coming back and having this conversation.
Yay.
It's just been so, it's like, you know, I don't think a lot of people understand the ancestor work like how we've done it. And I think it's like important to share and just to show like, you know, you're gonna die a few times, but you will make it. You're gonna make it on the other side, and you have just such this like fullness at that point because you're just like, yes, okay, this is me.
Yes.
A complete understanding and picture of yourself, and being like, now I understand why I have these talents and skills and these assets to me, these facets where it's like, it makes sense. It just wasn't it's because it's like. Here's the root, the bucket. Yeah. The cauldron of the mixture. Oh, yowzer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Shout out to Honor back there on the ones and twos.
Yeah, go Honor. Well, I will see you guys on the next episode. You know where to reach me. Expansions Ransom LLC on Instagram. You'll see the clips to let you know when another episode is dropping. Episodes drop now on Sundays at 10. So you just check in on Sundays. It'll most likely be something new. Yes. Expansion with Ransom. Go to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. These episodes are so rich and just life-changing for real. Seriously. Thanks. Yes. I'm so excited. I'm very thrilled and proud of how the development of the show is gone, and just like the interactions and the inputs, like the people who are wanting to come on, like you're chef's kiss. Yes, you've created a portal. I have. Well, I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye. Bye.